Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to my platform. Welcome, everybody. Gosh, it has been a while since I've been on here. A lot of things have happened. I lost my original phone and I lost my Facebook account, and the list goes on. So I had to wait a certain number of days before I can actually get downloads and get back into Facebook because I forgot my password. I forgot my password. I knew everything else, but my password with iPhone, if you don't know your iPhone, and one thing I did learn, so when I have an iPhone from here on out, which I have had it from day one, I never did click find my phone. So if I had that information loaded up, I would have been able to access everything in my phone, including finding my phone, which that is another story. But I learned my lesson. So I now have that app on my phone, Find My Phone, and I have my password stored in a safe place. So I always relied on my phone. I rely on my phone to do everything, including people numbers, because when I called tech support, Apple tech support, they could not help me because one thing, I forgot my password, and I did not store my password in a safe place where I can find it, and I did not have the feature of finding my phone, so I didn't set that up. And it was like, okay, ma'am, we can't help you. You have to wait until X amount of days and we'll send your email or text. And I'm like, oh my God. So I didn't know no numbers of who to call because, like I said, I relied on my phone so much to, I guess, to make sure that I have those numbers. So I didn't have to think about the numbers. I didn't have to remember the numbers. Back in the days, we had phone books and we had telephone notepads that we can carry in our purse to jot down people's numbers and names, and we can flip back in there and call them, and or we can reach out to them. So, time have changed and I didn't have any of that. But I thank God for the time that was spent in the quiet time. See, sometimes things happen to us that we don't understand. We don't understand, just like when something happened to my phone and I did not understand, gosh, why? Why did this happen at this particular time? But now that I look back over the things that had happened and accumulated some weeks ago in my life, I thank God for that time, because sometimes God does things intentionally just to get our attention, to prevent things as well, because, we can't see or foresee the future, and God knows best. He knows what's best for us. So my phone was restored 2 days ago. Excuse me. And as I downloaded the apps back on this phone right here that I'm on today, on my new phone, I restored Facebook, And the first thing that I saw was me and my dad and I. So that was my book. That was my page, my main page. And I couldn't understand because previous, my main page was me, myself, and I just on the page. And during the process that I did not have my phone, I couldn't download anything. I really couldn't see anything as far as going on different apps and different things like that. But when I got on the second time, this time on my new phone, and Facebook came in, the first thing I saw was my dad and I. And I couldn't understand. I said, why would they put, I'm thinking Facebook, I said, why would they put my dad and I picture on there as my main page? And I got to thinking, and I said, you know, during the process when I was going through a lot, I really did think about my dad. And I know it probably seemed weird to some people, but sometimes things happen to make us realize and reflect on that subject or topic or some of the things that we're going through, that even though our spouses, our loved ones have passed on, but their spirit remain with us. And they watch over us and guide us and lead us, same as God's Spirit does. And I was praying and I asked the Lord, you know, I said, you know, Lord, I don't know why I have to go through this. I don't understand it, but it's not for me to understand it, but I will survive the storm. I will thrive during and endure the storm. So what came to mind as I was going through this, and you know, it could have been worse. I mean, I'm talking about a phone, but in my phone, I put everything in there, everything. And thank God I had a iPhone. So iPhones is so difficult to get into. You know, you got to go through so much. And as I was going through that process, I was also thinking about my dad. Gosh, my dad was here. He would say this or he would say, do this, and he would support me. He'd be right there. And I kind of got emotional thinking about, gosh, I wish my dad was here. He would really direct me and give me some advice on what to do in life, difficult times and trials and situations. But he wasn't here. And God knew that I love my dad so much, which I love my mom too. But, you know, dad and girls or women's have that special bond with their dad, especially when I was growing up. I mean, my dad carried me everywhere. He didn't carry the boys, he carried me, and I was just his girl. I was just his baby girl, even though I was the oldest, but I was the only girl that he had. So he would call me baby girl, and I got to reminiscing over the old times and when I was younger and everything, how he spoiled me, how he protected me, how he believed in my dreams and my goals. I could just go to my dad and just talk to him about anything. So when I saw the profile picture of me and my dad on Facebook, I got to thinking, that is God. God was letting me know, even though my dad has passed away, but his spirit remains with me to let me know, baby girl, I'm here with you. I'm leading you, I'm guiding you, I hear you every day. I know that you miss me and I miss you. So it was just a reminder that his presence was still with me, even though he's no longer in the present with me. So I just want to remind someone out here, even though we sometimes don't know what God is doing, period, until it shows up in our face. And when that picture of my dad showed up in my face, God answered my prayers, letting me know it's going to be okay, and that he's okay, and that he still remains with me in the spirit. So I love the way God does things. I can remember when my grandmother in her lifetime would say, I love the way God does things. And she would laugh, but she really was sincere about God and the way God does things. So I'm here to say, in my grandmother's voice, and Anna Lee Murphy, I love the way God does things. So sometimes we can be reminded of just simple things, how God can get our attention and let us know that we're going to be okay, and that he is with us and he heard our prayers, and also that our loved ones are still watching over us as well. And it brought to mind on Wednesday night Bible study when I was at church, how Pastor Tubman saying how we can get out of God in such a way, and he was demonstrating how when we get out of God, we're on our own. We're on our own, even though God is still with us, but we have stepped out of God on our own. So when we get back into God, he was doing the demonstration in and out. So when we get back into God, then we are protected. And God has angels around us and walking with us to protect us on every side of us. And that reminds me how when we step out of God, we're unprotected. But as we step into God, we're protected and surrounded by people who cares for us, who loves us. They may not no longer be with us, but the Spirit remains with us, and the Spirit will protect us. And I say, wow, that's just like God. That's just like my dad, even though he's not with me, but his spirit remains with me, and his spirit is protecting me because I'm his little girl in his eyesight. In his eyesight, I was always his little girl, even though I was grown, but I was still his little girl that he had to protect. And sometimes, we can think about things that, we feel lonely, and we feel like that no one is listening, and we feel like we're not protected. But just remember, when we're in God, God has those people, those angels, those spirits of protection around us so that we can move, we can breathe, and we can navigate and have our beings and be able to function in the proper order that God has us to function in. Not we ourselves, but when we're in God, we can function properly. We can focus and concentrate in knowing, having that assurance that God is with us and that he will never leave us or forsake us. But when we're out of God, we're unprotected and we're doing things on our own. So that's just like risky business. We're taking a chance of being swallowed up, eat up by the enemy. We're taking our chance on so many things when we're out of God. We're taking our chance of being sick and having all kind of uncurable diseases. All kind of trouble is on our hand. Oh yes, we're gonna have trouble even on the side that when we step into God, we're still gonna have trouble, but He knows how to fight our battles. And when we're in God, trouble don't last always, because that's just a stepping stone of our faith, knowing that God is with us and knowing that God is going to fight our battles. But when we're out of God, then we're trying to fight our own battles, which we will be we will be doomed. We will be doomed if we try to fight our battles on our own, because we don't have any protection. But when we step back into God, then we have protection. So Pastor Tutman, he really, really broke it down. And I did receive that word. And that was a word from God to let me know, to assure me that God is with me and my dad is also with me. So y'all have a blessed, wonderful day. Happy Friday to everyone. And I'm excited to be back on board. So welcome again to my platform, and please share this. Please share this, because you know, when we're in God, we're still going to go through things. But guess what? We don't have to go alone, because God is with us. And the mental state of mind that we are in, God can protect us from all hurt, harm, or danger, seen and unseen. But when we're outside of the realm of God, and our state of mind is discombobulated and is all over the place, then there's a time that we can repent and step back into God, so we can have that protection. All right, y'all be blessed and happy Friday. Please share.